Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience Series, where we help you decide which dental school is right for you. Every school offers a unique and different experience, and who better to explain what that school has to offer than the student that goes there. Our goal is to give you a first-hand perspective of every dental school across America. Today, we'll be showcasing Peter Hone, who is a second-year student at Rutgers School of Dental Medicine. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
You got
cool. So how are you doing, Peter?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. You know, we're busy, but I got time for an interview with you.
Cool. Thank you. Definitely want to say thank you again for taking some time out to join us. If you could kind of, just tell us a little bit about yourself, give us a little background on kind of your journey into dental school, and then why you kind of chose dentistry.
Well, my name's Peter. I'm a second year at Rutgers School of Dental Medicine. I chose dentistry because as a kid, orthodontics really helped a lot with my confidence, especially in middle school where you're trying to figure yourself out. I thought the day I got braces and the day I got them off were two huge days for me growing up. And after I lost my braces, I had that whole confidence, and that's basically when I decided I wanted to be a dentist. And everything after that was just trying to get to this point, you know?
Oh, that's awesome. So you said you go to Rutgers. I guess could you kind of give us a little bit more info about your school, exactly where it's located, how's that city, and then how big is your incoming class? Just a little bit of general information.
Yeah, so we're located in Newark, in New Jersey. My class is 90 students. Our third year, we will get, I believe, about 20 international dental students joining us for clinic. And what else do you want to know?
Just kind of like how it is living in that city. If it was a really, tough or a lot different from your undergrad city, kind of like that transition into a new environment. Yes.
So I went to Rutgers, New Brunswick, and that's like a big college area. You know, you're surrounded by undergrads. But here it's more of it's a city, and we're located right by the hospital. We're connected to the med school. So it's basically just a very urban area, and it's very busy. You know, traffic's no joke there.
Yeah.
But we're just a busy area. We're not too far from New York or Hoboken, so there's always things to do on the weekends if you ever have the time, which it's hard to come by. But when you do, you have options to do on the weekends.
Got you. So I guess when you were thinking about going to dental school and applying, what were some of the things that were key factors in, making your end list of which schools you wanted to apply to, and ultimately what kind of led to your decision to choose Rutgers?
Well, I mean, in-state tuition is always a big factor. So that definitely mattered to me. But for me, I really wanted to be somewhere that was close to home. You hear a lot of times dental school gets really tough on you, and I just like being close to home, being able to see my family on the weekends whenever I have the time. And it reminds me, because I do want to end up staying in New Jersey and at home when I become a dentist and when I start working. And being able to see, like, seeing my mom on the weekends sometimes really gets me more motivated to study. You know, I'm like, man, she worked so hard to get me to this point. Whenever I feel down, being able to see like my family and know that that's what I'm doing this for helps motivate me. So being home was definitely a big bonus for me.
Got you. So I guess if you can, we're going to try to go back a little bit in the past. Could you, kind of recount the day that you actually interviewed at Rutgers and kind of walk us through the process of how the interview was and kind of the schedule of the day?
So I interviewed at Rutgers, I guess it's about 2 years ago now. But you get there at 8, you join, I think it was fourth years. We were with fourth years and about like 20 to 30 other interviewees. And they had a light breakfast spread out, and basically a faculty you'd have a one-on-one kind of an informal interview with faculty, and they just take you out of the room to go do your interview. And in the meantime, the rest of the students are just chatting up with the fourth years. So after the interview, they had a brief presentation on financial aid, what the school is like, what makes Rutgers special. And then what I thought was really cool was that they had faculty show us the school. Like on my other interview, they had students showing us school, but I thought it was really cool that they had faculty showing us around. And we just got to tour the school, tour the med school a little bit, and then our day was over at maybe 12 or 1.
Okay. Cool. So I guess once you actually got accepted into Rutgers, how exactly was that transition into that first year? You didn't really have to go too far location wise, but how was it transitioning with the workload, the course load? How were those first initial months, and how did the school help you with that transition?
Yeah, that analogy of like where you try and drink water from a fire hydrant is pretty spot on. You really we had 1 week or 1 or 2 weeks that before the semester officially started where we're just trying to get used to the schedule, because your first semester you're in class from 8 to 4, and that's like from undergrad. I've never been that busy. Like I took 21 credits at one point in undergrad, but I was still never as busy as I was my first semester at dental school.
All right.
But I thought it ended up working out pretty well, because that first semester everyone's really motivated. Everyone knows that this is a whole different ball game. So you come in and you're just thrown right into it. Once the winter and the spring, the schedule kind of lines up a little, which is nice because at that point you're pretty worn out. But the first year is definitely tough. It's tougher than second year.
Okay. Got you. So I guess you spoke on the schedule changing up a little bit. How or what does a typical day at Rutgers look like for a first year student? Like pretty much from start to finish, what does it look like on average, let's say Monday?
So on average Monday, if there aren't exams, because usually we have that little block, like an hour or two for exams.
Okay.
So that's the kind of, after that, we'd have maybe a didactic lecture on something. Our first semester, we were taking histology, neuroscience, and anatomy. But so you'd have like a 2-hour didactic, a science didactic, and then you'd usually have lunch, and then you might have anatomy lab for 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon. Or say like a Tuesday, you'd have a dental lab. You'd be in the pre-clinic and you'd have something like either operative or dental anatomy, where you have an hour didactic on that course, and then you're in the lab for 3 hours, doing your assignments. Then after that, you'd have lunch, and then you'd have another. It's usually a lab and a science didactic every day,
Gotcha.
So that you end up getting in there at 8, and then you're finished at like 4.
Okay.
So
And
it's a busy day.
Yeah, super busy. But so is it are the classes set up more so block style or systems based or PBL? Because I know a lot of schools are or I know more schools are picking up the PBL style of learning. How do you guys kind of structure it there at Rutgers?
So for our science courses, they're pretty much just a lecture format, lecture then exams. But your first semester at Rutgers, we had anatomy, which is a PBL format. And I actually prefer it that way. It gives you a chance, especially your first semester, you're able to talk to your classmates in a way that you probably wouldn't get to interact with them normally. But for the most part, our science courses are just lectures and exams.
Got you. And you do it, I guess you said block style, right? So you'll have like 3 weeks of lecture and then a test block for all your courses, or is it kind of weekly split up by systems or?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so like you say you have histo, you would take histo, biochem, anatomy. You would take all these courses for like 3 or 4 weeks and then have like a whole week of just a week of tests or 2 weeks of tests, something like that. Kind of know, like for instance, here in Tufts, like we'll do a systems based learning. We'll have like the renal system, and we'll do histo, pharm, medicine, all those lectures throughout the week, and then we'll have one exam for that.
I guess it's more like block style.
Okay.
Each course is on their own. You have lectures and you'll have exams. They don't necessarily align up, but it's pretty similar to what you'd have in undergrad. You just have these separate courses. They try to space them out as best they can, but you have exams when the course director basically wants you to have exams.
Got you. Okay. So for, I guess, anyone looking for some advice, someone looking at Rutgers as a potential school, what are some things that you would suggest that they focus on now to help put themselves in the best position to get in and then also succeed once they do get in?
So for us, if you're an undergrad in the area, there's a gateway to dentistry program. I didn't personally do it, but it's like a 2-week program during your winter break where you could go through mini like dental school routine, you know? So that's good. That gives you exposure to faculty and what it's like in the building. But other than that, it's pretty much just like applying to any other dental school. You know, you want to really make sure your application's on point. And one thing I noticed, especially coming in, is that they really emphasize diversity. You know, like they be unique. Make sure you can stand out because when I look at my class, there's a lot of unique personalities from like a lot of different backgrounds. There's a lot of international students, people from, we don't, even though we're an in-state school, we take a lot of out of state too, you know?
All right.
Like our demographics pretty spread out. So for us, I think being unique and bringing something different to the table and contributing in a different way to dental school is really big for us.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, you know, dental school, as you said, can be like drinking water out of a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
And it can be, you know, very hectic and very stressful, especially for a first year student. How do you kind of manage your work-life balance? And, you know, does your school kind of emphasize, you know, maintaining your mental health and kind of have systems set up for that?
Yeah, I'm usually a laid back person, so I'm not as worried about that as maybe some other people, but we do have a lot of opportunities for you to socialize within dental school. You know, there's clubs that you could join. And then for the mental health aspect, we do have resources like, and they're free resources for people who just feel overwhelmed. We have people where you can talk to and you can set up appointments with professionals that will help you in that aspect.
Gotcha.
So our school is pretty good with that, I think.
Okay, so yeah, it seems to be doing a pretty good job, and I know a lot of schools are focusing a lot more on that. So it's definitely a good advantage. That's definitely, you know, becoming the norm, and I think it is important, especially with, you know, the stress of that profession and that that crazy switch into so much work that first year. So
Yeah.
you know, a lot of students want to go into clinic or, you know, be a practitioner more so than research. How does Rutgers kind of ease students into the clinic, and, you know, what's that progression look like from first year to fourth year?
So I'm second year, so we actually see our first patient within the month, actually.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. But for as a first year and a second year, you are assisting our third and fourth years like every other week. So you get a chance to get exposed to just going up to clinic, seeing the faculty that will be up there because it's sort of different ball game up there, and you get a chance to interact with patients too. I think that's probably the most important part. Like learning from your upperclassmen and seeing how they talk to their patients really helps because the hand stuff, all the technical stuff, you'll probably be more prepared for it than just interacting with your patient, learning how to talk to people. So we do get a minor exposure of first, second years, and then towards the end of our second years when we start going up there.
All right, and then once you get into third year, it's pretty much all clinic work and a lot less didactic.
Yeah, third and fourth year is a lot of clinic work. We're in there every day.
Okay, cool. So, you know, we're gonna wrap up here, coming up to the end. But what are some things that are extremely unique about Rutgers, or unique about your experience there so far, that you wouldn't want to change, or you feel like sets Rutgers apart from other schools?
Well, I guess it's hard to say since I've only been to one dental school,
Right. Yeah.
but you hear a lot of horror stories, especially if you go on Student Doctor Network, about how faculty are out to get you. And at Rutgers, I honestly don't think I can name one faculty that's been out to get me. You know, like someone that just wants you to fail or like wants you to do something the hard way. Everybody there is just trying to make you a better dentist, and there's just a high standard of work, especially in pre-clinic, that they expect from you. So I've never felt that they've been out to get me, which I think is great. And another thing is, I mentioned before, is Rutgers really emphasizes diversity. And I think, especially in Newark, where we end up seeing most of our patients for clinic, that helps a lot because you're going to have to deal with people in different backgrounds, someone that's going to look different or speak a different language. And the fact that Rutgers cares about diversity helps a lot. So I think those are two unique things that I'm glad Rutgers emphasizes.
Got you. So, you know, just if you have any last words of advice or gems of wisdom to any pre-dent, you know, not necessarily applying to Rutgers, but just applying to dental school in general, what are some last words of advice that you could give to them?
I mean, just study hard and just be 100% positive you want to be a dentist, because it is a long road. It's 4 years of dental school. A lot of people, some people aren't sure they want to be a dentist or aren't in it for the good reason. So just make sure you're in it, and that motivation will carry you throughout dental school, and you'll be fine. As long as you really want to be a dentist, you'll be all right.
Got you, got you. All right, well, definitely thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to sit down and speak with us. On behalf of FutureDDS and our subscribers and viewers, if you could, if anybody has any questions about Rutgers, what's the best way they can get in touch with you? I guess your Instagram handle would be best.
Yeah, my Instagram handle is at Peter Huang. That's HOANG_. And I get messages sometimes too from people asking to help, and I'm always happy to help other aspiring dentists. So if you have questions, I'm open.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
So if you have questions, then I'm open to help as much as I can.
Got you. All right, so we'll make sure we put that information down in the description box, as well as the link to Rutgers, so you can check out a little bit more of general information about the school. But that's going to wrap it up. I'd like to thank you again for taking some time out, and best of luck to you heading forward.
All right, no problem. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Yep, no problem, man. If you haven't already, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and notification bell so you know whenever we post up new content. Keep tuning in to the rest of the series, because we're going to go over every school across America and give you some great information that'll help you make the right decision. All right, see you guys.